And there we go. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the Space Ghost. Or as Beetlejuice might say, the ghost with the most. I'd also like to introduce the lovely Jan. All righty. Well, we got a wonderful show for you this year. We have some guests coming back from last year. That'll be a lot of fun that you'll see. Let's see, what do we got going on here? So, our first guest, let's see, this is a tiny print here. Our first guest is the founder of the Museum of Video Game Art. Oh, that's very cool. That'll be exciting. All right, I gotta focus. Can we not print these things bigger, for Christ's sake? Jesus, you're killing me here. Which preserves and celebrates the art and design of classic video games. Very good. All right. He is also an author of the book of the Art of Atari and the Undisputed Street Fighter, a 30-year retrospective. So let's put your hands together for Tim Lapetino. Greetings. Welcome to the show. Have a seat there, sir. All right. So, how are you enjoying the free play so far?
Very well, very well. No BRAC sightings. I feel good about it.
Cool. Yeah, it's a lot of fun out there. We got a lot of action, a lot of noise. So much noise I can't even hear myself think. It's all bouncing around inside this cap of mine. All righty. So now I understand that you're a real big Atari fan. So exactly how old were you when you got your first Atari?
39? No, I'm just kidding.
Really?
No, I was 5. I was 5, and my dad brought it home from a store called the Video King. It was down the street from us, and they were on closeout. It was 1983, so it was in the middle of a video game crash, and that's the only reason I got one, because even though I'd been asking for it for at least a year, my dad didn't want to spend all that money because he's like, no, the future's in computers, you know. And but finally they went on clearance, much cheaper. We got one, my very first one, and I was obsessed with barnstorming for some reason, which I think is one of the most boring games. Actually, you just fly and try and go in barns and avoid birds. It's high concept, but I loved Atari. I thought it was really fun, and eventually I wrote this book. But it's really my dad's fault because I loved the art on the boxes, and I really, I loved it. I would stare at those things. I wanted to save them, and my dad's like, "Who saves the boxes to your video games? It's like saving the box to your refrigerator." And so he threw them all away. And of course, years of therapy later and buying them all back, that sort of like, sort of just focused my obsession, and eventually led to that book.
Oh, well, very cool, very cool. So now I remember when I was a wee little ghost, I had an Atari myself once. My favorites were, in particular, were Adventure and Asteroids. Of course, now we actually play Asteroids for real out on the Phantom Cruiser because we're having to dodge them all the time, getting around from planet to planet. So not a lot of fun, a lot of dings in the Phantom Cruiser. So
those buff right out, right?
So an Adventure, boy, that blasted bat would always steal my stuff. I hated that. So tell me, what were some of your favorite games on Atari?
I think Pitfall. I mean, everybody's favorite is kind of Pitfall. I mean, it's just a phenomenal game that felt like it went on forever, and even though it did. And I think Super Breakout was always one of my favorites, because it's this rainbow, wall, and you're a little square, and you're hitting the ball. But the box art totally blew me away because it's this astronaut with this rainbow thing reflected in the visor of his helmet, and it just felt like, it was this real thing now, and it was in space, and this guy maybe he had a ship, I don't know, probably wasn't as cool as the Phantom Cruiser, but it was a real thing in space. And I thought that for me, it was always awesome that the combination of these really simple games with the totally amazing art sort of completed it, and it was this thing that was bigger than the sum of its parts, and for me, it was like, it was it goosed my imagination. It got me thinking about the games in a different way. So, Pitfall, Super Breakout, love Kaboom. Kaboom's an amazing game where you go into this weird Zen mode, and you just, all these bombs are falling and your eyes are glazing over and your parents are like, are you okay? And like, that's like, one of my, favorite games. And there's so many good ones.
Very cool, very cool. I always liked Missile Command as well. That was a cool one. So.
It reminds you of home.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We always like the battle game. Well, we use it for training. Actually, that's how it all got started. So we used all these training videos to, practicing for going into battle. So, and then they came up with the market to, make it a video game. So intergalactic battle. That's what it's all about.
That's right.
So now I understand that you have another book that's coming out in December. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that book, the special edition is coming out in December. The regular edition is out now. It's called Undisputed Street Fighter, and I actually art directed it and edited it. So I did not write it, but I was heavily involved. I'm the series editor for this. We're calling it Video Game Icons, and Art of Atari was the first one. Undisputed Street Fighter is the second one, and it's basically we're looking at the whole Street Fighter franchise, from the very beginning. From Street Fighter 1, which is 30th anniversary this year, all the way through up to the present day, and about how these fighting games sort of evolved and how they changed and how they really sort of took the industry by storm, and what were the first things, what were the first innovations of those games, the character design, because there's these awesome wild characters, everybody from, Blanca to Ryu, and really digging deep in there. And we're trying to do a kind of video game journalism and sort of art history at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So now you say as a child that you really got into the art of these games. Elaborate on that. What sparked that interest in getting into the art of these games?
I think the first part is I'm no good at actually playing video games, so I had to come up with something else. But really though, I'm a visual person, and I love telling stories, and I feel like the artwork really helped tell this story. Even if you had this super simple game, something like, Breakout or, even Adventure, there was this almost like this mythology behind it just from this one piece of art. So I was always fascinated. You look at a game like Video Checkers. If you look at the Atari Video Checkers, there's this menacing, king in the background and this prince sitting next to this princess, and who will win and who will lose? It's like this Game of Thrones of checkers, right? But all the way you could tell this awesome story, or even just the suggestion of a story through one image, really fascinated me, and that sort of got me into visuals. I was an art kid growing up, and I'm a graphic designer now. It's kind of my day thing. And, for me, it's all about telling stories. And so the art is really interesting to me, art and design, because I think we talk a lot about the people who make the games, the programmers, and, some of them are kind of these rock stars of the video game industry. But the people that we don't talk about are the artists and the designers and the marketing people who were sort of creating this new industry. And I think, for me, I really like shining a light on the creative people that maybe don't get talked about a lot.
Oh, that's very good. That I can appreciate. So now, as an artist, you say now that you're a graphic artist, what were some of the mediums that you worked in before you got into graphic art?
I drew. I was a painter. I'd probably consider myself an average artist. That's where graphic design. That's why you go into graphic design instead of fine art, because you're not that great of an illustrator. But for me, I like the thing about graphic design is you touch all the different parts. You touch typography and lettering, and you touch photography, and you touch illustration, and you get to be this little bit of this miniature maestro. So you're pulling all these different things together, and since I kind of like to be sort of in control of the whole thing, you get to bring all this stuff together into one, and you're not a master of one of those particular things.
Right. I see. So now, did you have a particular medium that you would lean towards as a favorite?
I always liked working with either pastels or Conte crayons, anything that was really messy, and ink, anything where I could really get my hands dirty.
Something that you could really grind into the carpet, really piss your mom off.
Yeah, absolutely. Right next to the Play-Doh, the dried Play-Doh in the corner, and then we were forbidden to use that on the shag carpeting ever again.
So yeah, you wanted something that blends on the walls really well, right? So,
exactly.
Don't you love it, Mom? I made it for you.
Get the soap, get the water, hurry.
So now with the Street Fighter, if you could hang out with anyone from the world of Street Fighter, who would that be?
Chun-Li.
Really?
She had really nice legs.
Ah, I see. Okay, this is a family show.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's all the time we have. I do appreciate you coming out, Tim.
Thank you.
I do hope you come back again sometime.
Thank you.
All righty. Give it up
Thanks.
for Tim. Tim Lapetino. Thank you. All righty. Now, our next guest. Our next guest we had here last year, and he was just a ball of energy. So he is also known as the, what did I say? Again, tiny print, you're killing me here. The classic gaming whiz. So let's put your hands together for Keith Apicary.
Am I here? Welcome to looking at me. Oh, here we are. Whoa! 3D. Okay.
You all right there?
Yeah.
You
Just
wanna
wanted
ask
to
him
impress
something?
you with my moves, because I actually would like to audition to be your new sidekick.
I see. It looks like you raided Robin's wardrobe there.
Yes, he's out of the picture now, so the new guy is here.
I see. So you're auditioning to be part of the Ghost team?
Yes, I would love to assist you in your whatever the heck it is you do. I'm 150 pounds of.
and so well informed of what we do. So
I'm not quite sure. I just think you guys are cool and would like to be associated with you. And you know, people think of you, they think of me maybe, and that gives me a little bit more cred. So
I see. So Keith,
that's me.
what interested you in becoming a member of the Ghost team?
Well, I'm pretty mysterious. We all know that. I'm a big bad boy. I chug lots of gigabytes. Don't mess around. And I figure, you know, I just don't have much going on in my life, honestly. And I could really use like something to do. So
I'm so sad for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a superpower. I can urinate on command. And classic gaming whiz, accent on whiz. I have a finishing move, like the bad guy. I give him the urine trouble. Basically, I just like urinate, and he's like, oh no, and he leaves. Make him feel uncomfortable, and then, you know, there's no contact involved. So I can show you right now if you need. Oh,
Well,
no.
being an intergalactic peacekeeper is a contact sport.
Oh, well, I don't think anyone, well, the thing is, no one's going to make physical contact when they see me. They'll be like, ooh, no, okay.
I see. Okay.
'Cause I break out a lot, and then, you know, no one wants to get pimples on their knuckles, because that's really gross.
Right. So, do you think you have what it takes to be an intergalactic peacekeeper?
No, but I won't tell you that.
Well, you're going to have to tell me what are your qualifications.
Well, you know, I'm really good at Streets of Rage 2. I could beat that thing in like 3 hours. So that's not very fast, but I'm really good at it. I can do that. I can hold my breath for a long time, and I can do that in space. That's pretty necessary. So if, you know, you ever need some guy to like change the oil, get out there, I'll hold my breath and change the oil for you on your spaceship. No? Do you guys have oil in space?
So you're looking to be like a maintenance guy?
Call it what you will. I will call it super sidekick.
Ghost janitor?
The super oil master. How about we call it that?
Okay.
Does that sound cooler than just mechanic? Can you like spice it up and maybe call me like, can you say it like cool? And do like, he's the mechanic. Or something like that.
So have you ever worked on a spaceship before?
Yeah, I had a deluxe F-Zero cabinet, and that's a Blue Falcon. And I actually could probably blow your spaceship away, honestly. So I don't know if you ever, hey, I'm just being honest. You guys ever played F-Zero? Do you know the Blue Falcon?
Yeah, 'cause this is what you want to do in an interview.
Wait, have you never heard of Captain Falcon?
Captain Falcon?
Yeah.
I've heard of Blue Falcon.
He drives the Blue Falcon. Drives all around space. I'm surprised you probably seen him at like a red light or something, zipping by.
I see.
It's really. Anyways, I had a deluxe cabinet, and the thing uses a GameCube memory card. It's pretty advanced, so I have figured out how to clean the dirt out of the gears because it's like a cabinet that seats move around. That's pretty intricate mechanics in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can do that. I can clean dust out of your engine, basically, if you just give me one of those air things.
Well, the Phantom Cruiser works on a 5-point warp drive.
Is that like
What do you know
Alienware?
about those?
5-point what?
Right. Yeah, this is going well. So, yeah. So intergalactic janitor, you say?
I like to say like the mechanic in a really deep voice. You can say call me what you want. As long as you say it with a deep voice, people will go, oh, all right, cool, all right. Like, just call me like, I don't know. Call me like anything you want. Just call me like the freeloader, like the creep, and just say it in a cool voice, and people won't hear the words, so they hear the voice and go, I like that guy.
So you're in this for the cool name, is
That's
that
all, really, honestly. I just want to look and be associated like with you, be cool like you.
Okay.
So far,
All right. Now he's starting to suck up. This is going
Well,
better.
I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
My life is miserable. I have nothing going for me. I live in freaking Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Frozen
I
tundra
see.
9 months out of the year. Anybody else from Woonsocket, Rhode Island? A city on the move? Are you just waving for me to leave? Telling me to go away?
So, what planets have you visited in the past 5 years?
I mean, outside of Rhode Island, which is another world, I've been to Free Play, Florida. That's an interesting place.
Yes, I've noticed.
Orlando. I've been to Cumberland, Rhode Island. East Providence. My mom never lets me go to Providence because it's too dangerous. I'm a 32-year-old long boy too, and she still won't let me go out there. I've never been outside of this atmosphere, but I can jump like 14 feet off of a trampoline. So that's like, I'm getting close.
Yeah, that's out there.
Pretty high.
And what color is the sky in your world?
I'm color dumb, actually. I'm colorblind, so I can't like really tell what the sky is. But I've been told it's like a variation of blues. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I played a lot of Virtual Boy, and I just don't know what's going on anymore. So, kind of scrambled my brain.
All right. Well, let's see. What? Tell me what your first job was.
Oh, well. My first job, it was a gravedigger in Massachusetts, so I can put away all your enemies.
A grave digger?
Yeah, so you like knock them down, and I'll just bury them. So if you call me like the Grave Master, that might be kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to call me that? That sounds like a sidekick, right?
So, that actually might work on the ghost planet. That's actually not bad. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what kind of jobs have you had since your grave digging gig?
I worked at PetSmart. That was depressing. Got fired. Worked at D'Angelo's. That's a sub shop in New England. Is there a D'Angelo's fan here? All right. Nice. Yeah, that's a sad place. Right now I'm more of an entrepreneur. I'm a classic game of whiz, 150 pounds of street muscle. One job I had was just badgering a wrestler for a long time until WWE gave me a check and they told me to leave and go away. That was technically my last paying job.
Oh,
And
I
I just
see.
it's just basically harassment. So not really a job, but I got paid, so I consider it a job.
Okay. So did you actually get to wrestle?
No, they would not let me touch him at all because they were threatened by the Grave Master.
I see. So do you have any combat skills at all that would be useful to the team?
Actually, I can defeat myself faster than anybody else.
You can beat up yourself?
Yeah, I can do a number on myself. Yeah, you want me a little demonstration?
Oh, dear God.
Okay, see. Hey, what's your problem? Nothing, I'm just minding my own business. Well, you're freaking ugly. No, you're talking to yourself. Don't talk to yourself like that.
You know, we have limited insurance.
You can't talk to me
stage.
like that.
You all right there?
Through with you. Oh, I'll show you how it's done around here. Seriously, what's your problem? Nothing, man. I just have like personality disorder. Don't get mad at me. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at myself. Really? This is actually more of an emotional battle than it is a physical battle. So if you want me to like emotionally get someone distressed, what's happening? I can't see. Am I still here?
Can we get a couple of stagehands here to help with the chair?
Did I get the job?
And maybe a couple of interns to hold this guy down. So,
I thought this was a job interview, and it doesn't seem like it's going very well.
yeah, you're doing just fine. Have a seat.
Okay,
Go ahead
cool.
and park yourself there. So,
Why am I farther away from you?
so
That's better. The math doesn't work out. Okay. Do you want me to show you again?
No, that's fine. That's I don't
know if
think
you're-
the set can take it. That's it's quite all right. It's made out of mere wood. Okay. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, probably in front of a mirror if I'm looking at myself. But if I'm not in front of a mirror, I must have pretty advanced powers. So maybe I could apply those powers, and I could, tell you, I'm the only person who can see himself. So maybe that's useful.
Oh, I could
In
believe you're a
5
lonely
years-
person.
5 years. How old am I now? 19, 20, so I'd be like 24 by then. Oh, jeez. I see myself holding my breath, changing your oil, because this is the best job interview you've ever had given someone. And I'm
So
now
holding your breath while changing the oil?
Yeah, because it's space.
I
And if I'm
see.
changing your oil, I'm guessing I'm in space, unless you've landed on some exotic
Well,
planet.
we'd supply you with a spacesuit if
Oh,
that were the case.
wow, that's nice of you. Wow.
If you get the job.
Okay.
So what are some of your life goals? What is it that you want to achieve?
Oh, geez. I really don't have anything planned for myself. Maybe meet Mai Shiran Yui. She's from Mark of the Wolves and Neo Geo Fighters. Oh, man, I would sure love to meet her. Ooh La La from Space Channel 5 would be nice to meet her. But these are all fictional characters, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't know. Anybody I'd like to meet? Who the heck would I want to meet? Oh, geez.
Well, don't hurt yourself here.
Like, all my idols are not real and don't exist, so I don't really know who is real. Who in here is a real guy or lady? I'd like to meet her, him. I can't tell what I'm looking at with this.
Congratulations, man. You are now a life goal.
I'd like to meet that over there. That would be cool someday. Maybe in 5 years I'll meet it, and then we can like talk.
Okay. Well, if we're here in 5 years, I'll introduce you. How's
I
that?
mean, we're halfway there right now.
So, okay. Yes, this is a very long interview. All right. So
Let's not. Now that we're on a roll, we may as well just keep going.
So what else can you tell me about yourself as far as your qualifications for this job?
Oh, jeez, what are my abilities? I can say like all the words. I know a lot of them. Most numbers, I know those. I got a really good singing voice. So if I can sing at you, tell you songs.
You can sing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really good at singing. Yeah. Actually, after this tonight, I have a musical that I'll be putting on this very stage. So when we
Oh,
sing,
really? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's called Rampage on Stage, and it's a musical. The Rock. So The Rock, one of my colleagues, another wrestler, he is in the new movie, The Rampage, at Brian Collins' game, which is being turned into a movie. Well, Keith Apicary created the first play, the musical play of Rampage, which is premiering tonight at 10 p.m. And some of the people from the audience earlier auditioned for the movie, and they got cast in the play, I should say, and then we're going to perform it at 10 p.m., all written by me. Brian Collin will be in it. Me, Apicary will be in there, and the three other people who I don't remember their names because they're strangers to me are going to be in it. But yeah, it's a musical that I wrote about Rampage, and I wrote all the songs. I will say all the words at everybody. It's going to be great.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Can you give us a little taste of what we're going to see?
Yeah, sure.
Without breaking the stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty emotional stuff. It's pretty dark.
All right. Well, well, do we have some tissues on standby?
Yeah, or some toilet paper, because it could go. It could go real.
Well,
people could
we'll
get
just
real
have to
sad.
let the waterworks fly. We'll just have
Yeah.
to chance it. Man, go.
I don't remember any of the words because I've not rehearsed at all. So I was actually planning on taping the script to my face so I could do it, so I just could see it in front of me and do it. But well, we'll see if I can do it without
Charm
the words.
school.
I used to love my life. And there's another part, I swear.
Wow, sounds like a whiz bang of a show.
But there's after that, there's a whole other song that finishes it. Are there scripts over there? Oh, it's the actress? Who is this I'm looking at? Oh, this is the woman who will be playing Lizzie. She's the romantic interest in the
By all
play.
means, come on up.
Yeah.
Come on up. Let's give her a round of applause there, ladies and gentlemen.
What's your name?
Cassie.
Cassie. She will be playing Lizzie, the love interest. She's basically a green Godzilla
Thank you,
character.
Cassie.
Cassie. Is her name.
Thank you, Cassie.
Okay, here we go. Thank you, Cassie. Where the heck is it? It's like the first page or something like that. Oh, that's the last page. 15 pages of award-winning material. The full title of the play, the musical, is Rampage on Stage, an artistic theatrical play to win Keith Apicary an award for acting good and good writing it too. So, created by Brian Collin. Okay, so here it goes. Ready? Lead me in again. I used to love my life. I used to feel right, but lately, now when I pound a town, now when it crumbles down, I'm blasé. I'll explain. And then it breaks down. It's really musical. It gets really catchy. And then I'm all day long I smash and bang. That's because my life's a game. Bashing people, popping brains, never clean 'cause human stains. Humans, I can't say an S because the lisp is kind of hard, but human stain. You get the picture. I talk about causing rampage and carnage, and it's really catchy stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, let's give him a round of applause here, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Apicary.
It sounds like you're trying to wrap it up. There's 15 more pages.
Hell no.
Okay. Okay, good. I mean, you don't have some major guest coming out after me, do you?
We have somebody else who's waiting.
Oh.
But I'm going to let you finish spinning your top here, so.
Okay, cool. It's never going to stop. I got a lot of momentum, so. What else is going on with me? Ask me that.
Okay, so far we've covered the fact that you have some janitorial experience in space travel, but you don't know how to work on a warp drive.
Oh, no.
No. Okay.
No.
So that's out.
No, never had. I don't have experience in anything, honestly.
Really?
No
And that's
romance.
exactly what you want to hear in an interview for a job.
I thought
I don't have experience in anything.
I thought it would be good because I'm a clean slate,
So
and I can start with you. I can know something.
definitely,
You
yeah,
teach
you,
me.
you should. I suggest you should write a book on how to get a job.
Well, words.
Because you seem to know just all the right things to do in an interview. Because I have to admit, this is the most unique interview I've had.
Oh, well, there you go. I can be your unique interviewist.
So
Is that
yes.
a person you need on your team?
So Jan.
She can't.
No,
she
she's
can't
not.
get you out of this.
So yes, I'm getting the sign.
Well, are we getting the light? Oh, okay. All right.
So you've
I'll
never
see you
been to
later.
outer space.
No. Just tell me if I got the job, so I can go cry in the corner. It'll help me with my role.
I'll
for
get back
tonight.
to you. But thank you for coming,
Well,
ladies and gentlemen.
all right.
Keith Apicary.
Okay, thank you. I'll be eyeballing you from this corner over here.
Okay, you do that.
Thank you.
All right. Our final guest tonight. This is a performer. He is a voice actor, and he has starred in such things as Aqua Teens and Hunger Force. Are they the same thing? No, it's. And also on something called Robot Chicken. Sounds like a villain that I beat up once. So let's give it up for George Lowe.
I'm not doing any of that chair shit. Hello, how are you? Hello, citizen. Good evening.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Watch Your Court.
Some sort of an
Clients over here.
All right.
Don't worry about this. It's not medical.
Ah,
Hello there.
okay.
Hey, kids, look at me. I'm up past my bedtime. How about that? Hi, Spacey.
Greetings.
What's happening?
Oh, all kinds of
I had a
things.
bad trip to the ear doctor the other day, so if I miss anything, I'll just ask you again. They sucked out the part of my brain that does long division.
Well, don't worry. There's
Naturally,
no
on the ear,
math
I can't
involved
hear
here.
anything. They go in with a surgical tool called an alligator, and they were very precise. This one over here, they bring in this damn hose, and they got some fat lady in the hall named Inez sucking it out with a Hoover. So they actually, it looked like I had a pet rabbit. The stuff that came out of my ear, it looked like I had a rabbit living in my ear. I'm sorry that I had to share that with you. For those of you
I think that
ladies,
makes
there are
better-
bags on the chair in front of you if you feel the need to lose your dinner.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
Perfectly
probably better dessert conversation.
Hi, Space.
Hi.
You handsome devil, you.
Hi.
Yeah, this is something. Look at the table. My God, the work you guys have put in.
Isn't this lovely what they made?
Hey,
for
look, the last guy lost a penny.
you? So there you go. Score.
This crap's already paying dividends.
So now,
God knows the
is this,
residuals didn't.
so George,
Yes, Space, let her rip.
is this your first video game convention?
My first, this is actually my first, pinball thing, and it's great because normally I'm sure some of you who do the comic book conventions will agree with me. It's basically a great big building that smells like cup of soup. It can be a little dicey in there, can it? And you always get the CMF. That's the convention mystery fart. Man, walk through about 4 or 5 of them boys. Ask me why I'm blind in the right eye. Some kid who's been eating okra all weekend from Des Moines. Hi, Space.
Hey,
Boy, the last guy, man, he was something, wasn't he? That chair guy.
you just
one of those
wind
chair
him up and
guys.
off he goes.
My God, I'd be at the hospital if I did half of what that guy did.
Yeah, that's why he nearly took out
I'd
my
have to have
desk
like
there,
a guy
huh?
come out and be me and roll around in the chair while I did the voice back there. Hello, everybody. Oh. Let me just have a sip of my brain natriuretic peptide soda.
Oh well, all right.
Mm.
So now
Yes, sir.
I'm told that you are a voice actor.
Yeah, well, don't let that fool you.
So can you tell the audience?
I had the best line, by the way, when you asked what he was going to be doing in the future.
Yes.
I blurted it out. I said, I'm going to be doing illegal C-sections at the new Sandals in Guatemala. I'm always thinking of the best stuff for somebody else.
So is there big money in that?
So the voiceover thing, yeah, what can I tell you, Space?
So,
Ask me anything.
well, what character would you be best known for?
Hazel from that show, you know, where they have the maid and the kid
Hazel?
who has
So
adventures.
you did the voice for
Yeah,
Hazel.
the voice for Hazel.
So
I
yes,
was known
remember
for
that.
years as
That's-
Shirley Booth's looping actor.
Oh,
That's oh, Mr. B, I can't make a roast tonight. I've got an infection. Oh.
well, it's just like you're there.
It was a very popular show, Hazel. This man out here in the middle can't think of a way out of here fast enough. Got the Adidas jogging suit on. He's about to haul ass out the door. We went to the Space Ghost thing. Most disappointing.
So, so aside from your stint on Hazel,
My stint on Hazel.
what other characters are?
Well, you
are
handsome devil, I'll just go ahead and spill the beans. We had 112 episodes of a little thing called Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Space Ghost Coast to
Yeah.
Coast.
Oh, I see you've heard of it. Thank
By
you
all
so
means,
much.
tell us about that.
Tell us about that. Well, back in 1993, when I was still roaming the halls at TBS and TNT, doing promos, and yes, Turner Latin. I even got pulled into Turner Latin, and the Portuguese guys were always going, "You still don't know 2 words, do you? You don't know how to say anything." And I said, "No, you taught me one, chimichanga." And they were like, "Yeah, but we ordered that after the session." I was lurking around the halls at Turner doing that. Mike Lazo was still down, I think, near my friend Kate McSweeney. Didn't have the big fancy office, but he had folk art on the walls. And I'm like, "Oh, you've been to R.A. Miller's?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know R.A. Miller?" And we became friends with kind of the folk art thing. Well, enough producers at TBS and TNT kept saying, "Have you read George? Have you read?" He's like, "I didn't know he did voices." And they had a curtain up over there. Talk about ominous. Walked in. Clay's the one who told me this, rest his soul. I didn't remember this part of the story. When I auditioned, they had a curtain over the window. So it's like if you go in and you really suck, you don't see them making faces. Like, oh, on the other side of the glass, oh, this guy. Oh, really? How gauche. But I would hear things like, you know, I'm looking at the notes and I would just blurt stuff out like, what's he supposed to sound like, a moron? And you would hear him on the other side of the glass going, kind of muffled, but I could make, back when I had hearing, you know, and apparently killed it. Just like the next day they called and gave me the gig. But we just pulled the whole show out of nowhere. The writers were awesome. They were insane. And I think the turning point, you may get a different story from somebody else. The turning point for us as far as using ad libs, we ran out of tape with Branford Marsalis. And so we're just kind of chit-chatting on the phone. He was in New York, I was in Atlanta. And Branford's like, so we're completely out of tape, mind you. They're having to rack. This is the days of the old giant reels. And he's like, "Yo, Space Ghost, what you listening to?" And I said, and I could not have sounded like a less knowledgeable person about the world of jazz. What do some of the beat performers say now? I think I could not have sounded any more like a white boy. And Branford's on the phone very generously going, "So what are you listening to, Space Ghost?" I'm like, "Oh, I just got Miles Davis at the Wooden Nickel." And he was just convulsing. Branford's on the phone laughing his butt off. And he's like, "Come on, Space Ghost, you don't know no Miles Davis." And I said, "Oh, yes, I do." He's like, "Man, shit, what are you listening to, Space Ghost?" I said, "Serpent's Tooth." And he's like, "Okay, now, just in case any of you have never been counted off by a Marsalis brother, there's no known musical horror in the universe like having Winton or Branford or any one of the very talented Marsalis family count you off." And this is what he did. We're just screwing around on the phone. And like, Oh, I like the serpent's tooth. He goes, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, oh my God, so I better do it. So I go, and pardon my lack of a voice, but I just hit it, and it's like, he starts singing the chorus part. Again. Well, then we get, Lazo starts screaming in the back. So all I hear is Mike Lazo, who to me always sound like drunk Huckleberry Hound. Lazo's in the back going, wait for tape, wait for tape. We get the tape on. He's like, you got another one in you? I'm like, yeah, what, you want to do it again? So that's when we put it on tape. And of course, when I got to the scat part, I did it as dumb as I could. But oh my God, we had a ball. And I think, I may be wrong, to my knowledge, that was the second ad libs got pulled in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And they would ask me stuff like, Lazo was great. Yeah, I walked out of one session. He said, hey, when you're done, will you go back in the room and just go loo, 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 loo? Why, yes, I will. Just, like I was making a stock trade or somebody. The boss says, would you go do that? I said, yes. Into the session, they're like, don't forget Lazo's thing. I went, loo, 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 loo. And they're like, good, we got it. That's plenty. Thank you. It was just an insane asylum. Matt Harrigan was always my favorite, still always is my favorite producer, because Matt is a complete squirrel too. Every year I see Matt, I get the same annual lie. I now call it the annual lie. Anybody out there doing this live so I can tell Matt it's the annual, hi, thank you, sir. It's the annual lie. Matt's like, buddy, I've got this great idea for a show and we've got to do it and we're going to do this show. This is 3 years running now. And I call it the annual lie. That's right. So I see Matt again this year, walk in. Matt goes, buddy, I've got the best idea for a show. We got to do this show. We'll set up the equipment in Florida. We can do it back and forth. I'll be up here. We'll produce. Blah, blah, blah. The annual lie. And we never do. But Matt was always my favorite producer because he would say what's going on in Florida. And I would blurt out stuff like, oh, rats got in my warehouse and ate the chocolate in my Bender figure from Fox TV. Fox sent out these complimentary Benders to all the stations from Futurama. And I forgot it had a chocolate bar in the chest. You open it up, it had a chocolate bar in Mom's motor oil, which was chocolate drink. And I didn't know my warehouse at the time. I don't have it now. I had to sell it to pay off gambling debts with the mob. First the fingers, then other things. So had to take care of that. I'm sorry, I'm no damn help to you, am I?
You're making my job easy. I just have to sit here and look pretty.
Matt was just great about pulling that stuff out of you. He just, what's happening with the neighbors? And you would say, oh, I got this one guy that mows his lawn in a white bikini. We call him Bikini Man. And it's true. And of course, I would drive by and, you say stuff like, hi, Mark, how's it going? That reminds me, I've got to go to the store and pick up Little Smokies. And this guy never gets it. You drive by the next day, he's out there in the white bikini mowing the lawn. Hi, neighbor. Hi, Mark. That reminds me, I must go to the store later and pick up tater tots. This is 30 years of this guy mowing the lawn in a... It's like that song.
I don't think I even have to ask anything. You just go, man.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was stream of consciousness. We had great writers. They did great scripts, and then we would all go off on tangents.
I watched the show.
Funky Baby, Andy and I pulled Funky Baby just out of nowhere.
Say again?
I ended a session. It was just sitting in the booth going... Andy's like had to run 16 miles to get to the booth that I was in. It's crazy. You would think right across from each other. At the studio, you have to go down like 6 halls to get over to the voiceover booth. Andy came in and started doing all that. Oh, baby. I got you, baby. Oh, baby. It was a madhouse. It was a madhouse.
Well, it sounds
What
like you
other
had an
job
awfully
would
good
I have
time.
done? Can you imagine if the medicine thing had worked out?
So tell me,
Everybody who doesn't have progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathies, take one step forward. Not so fast, Mrs. Goldman. Pardon my indelicacy. There's a reason you have those pulsing nodules all over the top of your head. Hello, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to run away with your show.
No, that's quite all right. That's quite all right. Not a problem.
I'm sorry, folks. It's more blabby than the last thing. I can't roll.
I think we'll just change the name of the show
Shit'll
to
slip
George
in my
Lowe
back, and that'll be
Live.
it. I'll be like the boy in the bubble. Then everybody will have to come see me and get the picture handed by an assistant. Can he touch anything? Just dip the bubble in the ink. There you go. It's kind of a paw print. Here you go. Thanks for dropping by. That'll be $60. That'll be the new feel sorry for me price. He's in a bubble, for God's sake. Give him the $60. I had a guy sit down with me at the table today. God bless him. Just came right behind the table, sat down, started talking to me. These are the times, even without legs, I feel like I could walk out of the building on just my ass muscles. I'm sorry. Hey, you want to hear the worst medical joke in history? You'll love this. You can use this at the next thing. Guy goes to I can do the whole thing in 6 seconds. Anybody can stopwatch? Here's the hotel telling me to stop cussing. Penis, 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 penis.
I don't even know where to go now.
Here, you intro it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for 6-second joke.
So a 6-second
Yeah,
joke?
billboard it. 6-second joke.
You want a 6-second joke from me?
And then somebody hopefully has a stopwatch and keep me honest.
Oh, okay. I see. All right.
ready?
Well, actually, getting back to the show.
You got a billboard 6-second joke.
A 6-second
Yeah,
joke.
it's time for.
It's time for a 6-second
I'm giving
joke.
you the open, for God's sake.
Okay.
This is the most important part of the thing.
I see. All right. So, the 6-second joke.
Guy goes to the doctor. The doctor says, you got to stop masturbating. The guy says, why? The doctor says, so I can examine you. Outro. 6-second joke brought to you by Tongue Brothers Ball Game Wieners. They plump when you touch them.
I don't think I have to do anything up here. I'm just going to
6-second
sit. I'm
joke
just
brought
gonna
to you
let
by
it go.
Panty Pudding. Pour dry mix and aerosol in airtight pants. Go for a stroll. In 20 minutes, you got Panty Pudding.
You want
Now
to
in
talk about their
tapioca.
pants?
I'm sorry. I'm never going to be invited back. Get the guy who falls on shit out here again. Did he leave already? I was going to ask him to get me a job at the network.
See, it was pointless to write out all these questions. All I had to do was introduce him,
I'm
and
sorry.
I could even just leave the stage. Just let him go.
You look tired. I'm trying to help. You look like you wanted a little rest. You built the handsome desk. You know what's going to happen. I'm going to sign this damn thing. You and I are going to go online with it. We'll be retired.
I'm in.
It's buy the desk. That's what you ought to do, is give the money to charity. Sell the desk. Thank you. There we go.
Sign my desk.
There we go. Greetings, citizen. Now, if I can get the Clydesdale over here to quit clip-clopping around, I might be able to sign it in a straight line. You and your size 84 kids. By the way, folks, safety tip, if you ever go to a show with Lou Ferrigno, for God's sake, don't go in the bathroom after him. Those damn things pop out green flexing and mad. I swear to God, I had to slam the lid down. They were trying to make a break for it. I'm sorry. Well,
okay,
he came out, he did a
plenty of
bunch of
time. It's all
toilet
you,
jokes. Now we have a snack tip. Most of you who know me know the tradition is they're panty and food related. And the snack tip
Is he signing it or is he writing a story?
I'm
Is
still
he
writing.
sketching a picture? I'm in the dark.
Wait a
here.
minute. Here's a bonus picture. I'll try and do Dot over here. Dot's my little psychotic character. Boy, this is,
Psychotic's the word, definitely.
man, could this chair have less support? Where'd you get this, down at Jerry's?
I think we've gone
Spina
beyond
Bifida
signature
related
and
home
we're into
furnishings?
decorating.
Oh, look, this thing's great. Look at this. There you go. There's Dot.
He's so focused.
I got to put my copyright on Dot, though, so some cheese bag at the network doesn't steal it from me. You blurt stuff out there, and the next thing you know, it's robot chicken. Seth, I love you. Seth actually invited me to the Christmas party today. Dumbest thing I ever did, turned down the party at the Playboy Mansion. That would have been all on me, though. That's a lot of money to pay to go watch naked people flopping around. You can always go to the nursing home for that, am I right? There's that. Look at that. That's some handsome damn work there, if you ask me.
Well, there you go.
Huh?
All righty.
So we put that pig online. Whatever your charity is, then, you keep the money for
this
the
is
charity.
this is going up on eBay in the
Right?
morning, for sure.
Let me just have a sip of to borrow a line from my hero, David Letterman. I hope you won't begrudge me this opportunity to enjoy a refreshing beverage. Isn't that the great one? Oh my God.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So,
Oh,
so
man.
tell me, when did you first discover that you had a talent for doing
What do I
voice
do?
work?
Sorry?
When did you first find you had a talent for doing voice
Oh
work?
my God. I don't know, 2 years ago maybe? I hope I haven't lost the ear
Obviously, the
thing now.
medication's
Boy, I'm going to
kicking
be
in.
doomed if I lost the ear thing. Wait a minute. Oh, I feel something in there. Get your mind out of the gutter. There it is. Had to make sure I had my ear thing for tomorrow. That
I
room,
thought he was going to call out a bingo number.
that room is like sensory overload, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. It hit me at age 13. Had a bunch of friends shove me in a radio station. Where are you going? Who the hell gave you the day off? Get back in here. I'll come after you. Don't think I won't. I'm old, but I'm wiry. Get your butt back at the
I think
mixing
he means it.
console. No wonder I sounded overmodulated. 13, bunch of my buddies shoved me in a radio station in Clearwater, Florida. Different time. People were a little nicer then. And a bunch of old guys sitting around with the white shoes and the white belts. Room just billowing with cigarette smoke. How I haven't died by now just from contact poisoning in radio stations. It gave me the stones because they were so nice and let me do an audition that at 15, I walked in, I had the nerve to go into a station in Brooksville. Same guys, white belts. Wait, Brooksville? Yeah? I'll speak slower. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm sorry. The great thing about Brooksville, you pull in and it's like you see the sign, every town has it. It's like Lions Club, JC's, Kiwanis. And the slogan is birthplace of that sound. So anyway, at 15, I walk into the station in Brooksville and I go, your night guy sucks. And these old guys were just like, oh, our kid's great, give him a tryout. I was on that Friday night, and they kept me. It was great.
Now that's a job interview.
Yeah. And I was too damn crazy to ever stop. Although, at one point, here's a real scare. I had a friend who was head of thoracics at a major hospital, I'm not naming names, and he thought it was cool to have a TV buddy, and I thought it was cool to have a surgeon buddy. And I would get these calls. Henry was Brazilian, and you would just get, not the kind where you ladies, to get ready for the beach, not that kind of person. Henry was from the country, as opposed to the removal of the hair. You know, the Brazilians thing.
I got it. I got it.
You know, if you ride too many carnival rides, you know, you go home and you don't want to be near the unguentine for about a month. Anyway, Henry would call you, go, subtotal gastrectomy, 4 o'clock. You ever see a subtotal gastrectomy? I'm like, no, that'd be cool. Well, the more surgeries I start going to, Henry starts lying and introducing me as Dr. Lowe. I'm his first-year resident now. And he's pulling out, hand to God, he's pulling out intestine and asking me where to stop. So luckily, hold up your cape a little. Luckily, like if you see nice, healthy hair, and you've got this on the other side, you know, it's easy to find the necrotic dead tissue. And so I started sounding very smart. I was like, about another 6 inches. Long Kelly right there. He's like, that's perfect. That's perfect. Right. I'm thinking, what if I goof? This person's going to have a harmonica stuck in there or something. Every time they fart, it's going to sound like Lady of Spain. Hey, you remember that summer you and I got crazy and we gave the pet porcupine at your house, we had him eat all the dry beans? And you kept trying to pull the legs apart, make it play Lady of Spain. We did 6 hours we tried that. It was great. I scared the Navy guy. My Navy friend just hauled ass out of here. This guy's leaving too. I'm sorry. Oh, sure, wave sarcastically as
You're
you
just
run.
chasing him out now.
I'm sorry.
That's quite all right.
Boy, it's become stream of consciousness theater, hasn't it?
It's more George for the rest of us.
I'm sorry. What else did you want to know?
So, well, let's see.
So I was a
where am I
surgeon
here?
for a while. No license, no fuss, no muss. And actually, a friend of mine in Atlanta at Grady, a surgical nurse, swear to God, Dragon Con this year, says in my panel, "Can I bring you a present?" And I said, sure. I'm thinking it's going to be a kiss or something good. Comes up, hands me a complete, ready-to-go, sterile chest tube insertion tray. Thank you very much. Got the forceps, got the whole thing, ready to go. And I looked at her and I said, I think I can still find the 5th rib if I have to. That's where you go, rib 5. Rib number 5, cut open, get in there, let all that blood drain out, pressure starts to restore, everybody's happy. I know you'll feel like your pressure's restored when this is over. Serpent's tooth, you in the back, quick. I'm going to get my ass kicked later. Darth Vader and those guys are not happy with me. What's the other one? Debbie Drake. Exercise maven, Debbie Drake and Darth Vader. All right. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
Buy
Actually,
this handsome thing online. Right? Are we doing that?
well, we'll just have you back each year, and you just sign another part of the desk.
You're going to keep it, you butthole. I know what you're doing. I just called me a butthole. Hey, me, I'm a butthole. The two of us are 2 buttholes. That's stereo buttholes.
Okay.
Remember them? They used to open for, I think, the motels, the stereo buttholes. They played their own version of the Serpent's Tooth. That was kind of a punk version.
Okay. Awesome.
Get out of here. Shut the door, you slush bag. Sorry. Sorry you had to see that ugliness. The kitchen people were coming in. Have they all stopped laughing now? Am I done? Should I go to the room?
Actually,
You got 85 questions to go. Oh, shit. Well,
no, our team actually had a request. They have some of their favorite space games. One in particular, the Space Harrier, and they were wondering if you would read a caption from the intro of that game.
oh, sure. Sure. A caption. Nona knew she had to have Pietro in the worst way. She lay there on the divan, breasts heaving, waiting for Pietro to bring forth the giant 40-gallon tub of clotted cheese. Oh, this is the wrong thing. Hold on. No, here we are. Here we are.
I don't think that's the
my,
card.
my boy does. Far away, there was a special land. This isn't mine. What is this?
I have
other
no
stupid
idea.
show I've never heard
They
of?
gave me the card.
Are you responsible for this? You know, I'm not paying for summer camp for you if this is the kind of crap you're going to hand me. Let's try and sight read it and see what we get. Far away, there was a special land where peaceful dragons lived peaceful lives until the attack. I ought to read it like Morgan Freeman as best I can. Vicious creatures seeking final extinction for the dragons. You are their last hope. Laser blast and dodge your way through a frantic fantasy land swarming with unbelievable monsters and mutoids constantly coming at you. It must be the kind of freedom only a free man can know. I hope the ocean is as blue as I've seen it in my dreams. I hope. I hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Lowe. Thank you for coming, sir. This has been a true pleasure.
Oh, my God. By the way, the last guy left this thing moist. It's like he laid eggs in it or something.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes Blasco's Live. Thank you so much for